Have you ever had to write an email to tell a colleague they made a mistake, but weren't sure how to say it without sounding like an attack? Or maybe needed to address a performance issue without creating tension or resentment? Hi, I'm Thomas. The problem isn't the feedback itself, it's how we deliver it. Today, we're going to look at the exact language patterns that let us give negative feedback clearly and directly without sounding harsh and damaging relationships or making people defensive. Let's get started. When we need to give negative written feedback at work, there's one rule that changes everything. Focus on the solution, not the person. This single shift transforms difficult conversations into productive dialogues. When we focus on the person, we create defensiveness. People shut down and relationships get damaged. When we focus on the solution, we invite collaboration and people engage. Then the real solutions emerge. It's really simple. We just want to avoid starting sentences with you when we give negative feedback. That one word immediately puts people on the defense. Look at these two approaches. You messed this up. When someone hears you, followed by criticism, their brain goes into defense mode. They stop listening. They start making excuses, or they just mentally check out. When we take you out of the sentence, we have this: something didn't go as planned. Notice how this version describes the situation without blaming anybody. The person can hear this feedback without getting attacked. Same problem, completely different impact. This is why we avoid you statements in negative feedback. The word itself triggers the defensive response. When we describe the problem instead of accusing the person, they can actually hear what we're saying and they want to work with us to fix it. Now, let's look at a couple of phrases to make this work even better. Small language changes make big impact. Look at these examples. Instead of "this is your fault," we can say, "how can we fix this?" See how this second version focuses on the solution, not the blame? It invites partnership instead of creating adversary. Instead of "you made a mistake," try to write "let's figure out what went wrong here." Let's is powerful. It says we're in this together. We're solving the problem as a team. We're not pointing fingers. And instead of "this is unacceptable," we might say something like, "this doesn't meet our standard. How can we improve?" When the person reads this, they're going to be a lot more receptive. Notice, we're not describing the gap between current performance and the standard. We're not saying you're unacceptable. What we are saying is the work needs improvement, and we're asking how to get there together. The pattern in all these is that they describe the situation, not the person. They invite collaboration with words like "we" and "let's." They focus on solutions, don't place any blame, and they ask questions instead of making accusations. It's not about being soft or avoiding accountability. It's about being effective. When people don't feel attacked, they're more likely to actually fix the problem. These are some good examples too. Instead of "you didn't follow instructions," what about "there may have been a misunderstanding? Let's clarify." This assumes good intent. Most people aren't deliberately ignoring instructions. There's usually confusion or some kind of miscommunication. By saying "there may have been a misunderstanding," we're opening the door to find out what really happened without accusing anybody of anything. And instead of "you're doing this wrong," what if we said "what support is needed to succeed here?" This is one of the most powerful reframes. Instead of criticizing the approach, we're asking what's missing. Maybe they need training. Maybe they need clearer expectations. Maybe they need different resources. When we ask what support is needed, using the passive voice to take the focus off the person, we position ourselves as their partner in their success, not just a critic judging their performance. If you could use a refresher on how to use the passive voice, check out mini grammar lesson number 23. So remember, there are no you accusations here, just descriptions of the situation and questions that invite dialogue. Sometimes we need to give feedback that's critical, but we want to maintain the relationship. Look at these phrases. They help us give critical feedback while maintaining respect and psychological safety. I see your point, but have we considered? So, this acknowledges the other person's perspective first, which is important, and then it introduces an alternative. I see your point here, but have we considered double checking the numbers before we send the report? That's interesting. What if we shows respect for their work while suggesting a different approach? That's an interesting approach. What if we also got input from the client first? So we want to take their advice and add something to it. We can also use, I understand your approach. My concern is. So writing this will validate their thinking while stating the issue clearly the way you see it. So I understand the time pressure. My concern is that the report has several errors that need fixing. I might be missing something, but this is really humble and non confrontational. It's a great way to avoid confrontation. We can say something like, I might be missing something, but weren't we supposed to include the Q3 data? All these phrases let us give critical feedback while showing respect to the other person. We're not sugarcoating the issue. What we're doing is creating an environment where people can actually hear and read and act on what we're saying. Let's look at how this works in a real email scenario. Look at this harsh feedback from an email. The scenario is that a team member keeps missing deadlines. And here's what most managers would say: you missed 3 deadlines this month. This is unacceptable. Do better. This creates defensiveness, fear, and resentment. So, why does this fail? It's the you accusation. The person feels attacked. They're not thinking about solutions, they're thinking about how to defend themselves, or they're just shutting down altogether. This approach might feel direct and it might feel strong, but it's actually not effective. Now, watch what happens when we focus on the solution. Look at the professional feedback in this email. I've noticed deadlines have been missed and it's impacting the team. Let's understand what's happening. Are there obstacles we need to address? What kind of support can we offer? Saying it this way invites collaboration, problem solving, and mutual respect. And what makes this so professional is that there are no you accusations. Deadlines have been missed instead of you've missed a deadline. It describes the impact. It's impacting the team, explains why this matters. And it asks questions like, what's happening? Are there obstacles? Which invites dialogue. It also offers support. What kind of support can we offer? It kind of positions us as a partner. And finally, it focuses on future solutions. It's not dwelling on past failures. Dwelling on the past doesn't ever help much. So the person's much more likely to open up about what's really going on. Maybe they're overwhelmed, unclear about the priorities, or they might just need different resources. We've given clear negative feedback, but we've kept the relationship intact. And that's what we're trying to do. These three techniques are your toolkit for giving feedback. First and most importantly, use we language, not you. How can we make sure this doesn't happen again? Builds partnership, not opposition. It says we're in this together. And ask, don't accuse. What happened here is better than you messed this up. Questions open dialogue. Accusations close it. People respond to questions and they defend against accusations. And describe the impact, not the person. This is creating delays instead of your being slow. So we can focus on the outcomes and solutions. And we don't really need to be making character judgments. Next time you need to give difficult feedback in an email, use these techniques and let us know how it changes your work relationships in the comments. If this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more business English lessons. New business English videos every Wednesday. In the next video, we'll look at how to deliver bad news in emails without damaging relationships. Don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.